tired. I wouldn't even lay down if he didn't make me lay down sometimes. Does that sound like her? He leads me beside the still water. I needed restoring for my soul, and he restored my soul. I want to talk about that. He leads me in the paths of righteousness. Sometimes I don't know what to do, and I haven't always done exactly what I would want to do, but he leads me in righteousness for his name's sake. And then recently, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. So I know it was a frightening day when your mama passed. But the one person that had no fear was your mama. And then he says, you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. So I'm overflowing with your goodness. She says, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. And then completes this by saying, here's our promise. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now, I don't know everybody's faith here. I was thinking about Louise and her life, and so I thought I'd begin to, by saying, obviously Louise was in church every Sunday. She never had a crossword to say to anyone, but that wouldn't be a good. I can't lie to you today, can I? I was going to ask, is there anybody in the room that she ever looked at you and said something really straight, or gave you a piece of her mind or anything like that? So, sometimes when it comes to your life, you would like to say, somebody's life is just perfect. And I go to these services on occasion, and nobody did that today, but often at a service that I perform, people share some words, and somebody will inevitably get up and they'll spew this, never had a bad thing to say about anybody. They give you the shirt off your back, and maybe all of those, sometimes it's true, but most of the time, I think they're lying. Because, my mama passed about 10 years ago, and I spoke at her service, and I never told everybody. Mama never said a bad word to anybody because Mama was pretty clear with her position. And she raised people effectively, and sometimes people didn't like the way she did stuff. And so I'm thinking of your grandmother and thinking that there were probably some times when you wondered, is she doing what she ought to be doing? Is this the best way to do life? Even if you go back in your childhood, this is a hard-working woman. My understanding is at times she worked like 3 jobs at one time, and worked everything from working in a factory to working as a security guard. She made patches for astronauts. She just had all kinds of these crazy jobs that she had. But the plan was she was going to take care of her family. And I was thinking about working really hard. And Scripture came to my heart from Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And Romans 8:28 reads this way. Paul says, all things work together for good to those who love and serve the Lord and are the called according to His purpose. I'm looking around this beautiful room today of all you great folks and great friends and wonderful grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I'm thinking to myself, she worked a lot. And sometimes people say work is good. And I'm telling you, sometimes work ain't good. Working 3 jobs, not having enough time for your kids, and not able to be every place, and going through your own brokenness. I don't know about. I never met her mom and her dad, and you would have to ask, some other people who knew her, and she'll ask you about that sort of thing. But she probably had some mess in her past, and she came into this world with her own brokenness, and she had to work it out. Is anybody having to work your life out right now? And people might look at you right now and say, well, you're not doing everything exactly right. Well, you're working it out. There's another scripture that calls us about salvation, and it says this, that we should all work out our salvation. And salvation is something that gets worked out, and the scripture goes on, with fear and trembling, knowing that my salvation is the most important thing that I work on. Now, I had the great privilege of meeting, because Allie, I always call her Deborah, but brought her mama to church. She had been in some pain. We prayed for her and knelt down at her chair, and we had some prayer.